Oh, well, minus Fox Night. So, hey, now I'm Fox, and you're probably going to be hearing, like, this. It's because the AC is on now because it's summertime. But, before we get into this, if you know me, you'll know my favorite video game character. So this is the very first video game character. Not so much my favorite video games. I wouldn't say it's made my video games. My favorite video game is still Okami, which actually... But yeah, Okami, one of my favorite video game. Even got the... Anyways, Okami. But my favorite video game character is Sonic. Sonic, things he has some of my favorite. He was one of my favorite cartoons. Some of my favorite cartoons growing up, as well as being the first video game I ever played. Being Sonic 2. That is the very first video game I ever played on the Sega Genesis. So yeah, Sonic. I love Sonic. That being said, probably the second game I ever played on the Sega Genesis, which was also one of a big thing I like, is Altered Beasts, which is, if you don't know, a game where you play as big, beefy muscle dudes, but you collect these orbs, which in the game look more like CDs, and you collect them, and then after a few times, you then transform into a werewolf. And it's a really cool game. I forever burned into my mind is Rise from Your Graves. It's really fun. It's like a side-scrolling beat-em-up. It's great. And also my brother actually really liked, and that also I'm pretty sure probably shaped a bit of my brother's love for werewolves in general. So I've grown up with werewolves and all that stuff. I love werewolves so much. So, Wolf King. Apparently, and I'm going to say this, especially after it's going to sound like I'm kind of an idiot, or like I bring it up so much. Anyways, I brought up Okami too because wolves. I love wolves. I love dogs. But maybe I'm going to sound a little bit like an idiot, but like, because there's like, well, Ianu is like Avatar, but, you know, Africa, and then you have like Dragon Prince is kind of like Avatar, but kind of medieval-ish, I guess. Avatar Last Airbender. And, you know, if you haven't seen Ianu, it's okay. But, that being said, Wolf King is Avatar, and I'll say this more, if you want something that is very Avatar-esque, because, okay, Ianu is very much kind of Avatar-esque with a sense of, like, there is a type of super being that was born to save the world from, like, an age of darkness and war and stuff. That is kind of very much what Ianu is. But, like, specifically, like, she is kind of the chosen one and all this other stuff. That's kind of what Ianu is, okay? And, like, same thing with it being a superpower, like, demigod kind of thing. Wolf King is similar to Avatar in the sense of, yeah, he is superpowered, but there's a lot of characters who are also superpowered that could probably kill him. And there is also a major weakness that everyone else could have. And instead of it being that he's really, like, the chosen one, it's more along the lines of he is the last of his race. Which, let's see if this brings it up. But we'll get into it, alright? Alright, let's begin. 3, 2...
Each realm had its own werelord.
Yeah.
All the werelords pledged
Werebears.
to the noble wolves. Until the lions came and destroyed them.
A Netflix animated series. Which, another thing, I gotta see who made this, because I feel like the people who made this are the people who made Paranorman, Coraline, and all that stuff, because it looks like their art style and like their stop motion animation, but it's done, I'm pretty sure, with CGI, because oh my god, if they were able to make an entire show like this, we wouldn't get another season for like another like 10 years.
You have to leave tonight. You're not like the rest of us.
He's over there! I never killed my mom! Something else did!
That sword is so cool. Based on the Werelord
Not the
world.
monster people think I am.
Kinda wanna read the books, honestly. The last wolf. The last wolf-bender.
In the eyes of the king.
How can a wolf still live? If a wolf does live, it could threaten King Leopold's hold on the throne.
She's cool.
So this is the Great Wolf everyone's talking about. Well, what are we waiting for? A rebellion has to start somewhere, right?
You know, werewolf. Nothing more than a mongrel in wolf's clothing.
Also, I'm going to say this right now. Go watch this. Like, legitimately. Like, I want to say that right now. Go watch this before you watch the rest of my review. Just know, it's good. I highly recommend it. Go watch it. If you like, this is the thing. Like, Ianu, I like it. Well, I haven't read the book yet, but the animated series, it's okay. It's not going to be anywhere near, like, any of my top favorite shows. I can see where they were going with this, but in the show, not the comic. I haven't finished the comic yet. But I see where it's going with it. But honestly, me, myself, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. I would probably say to read the book, 'cause I'm going to assume the book is probably done better. But, I wouldn't necessarily recommend the animated series, if only because it's a little bit of a... If you're interested, sure, there's some cool ideas in there. And, like, the last 3 episodes are I'm sorry I say the best that it's been. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend that series right now. I'm kind of surprised it got a season 2, but then again, not that surprised because it probably was like a contract thing, and like it's only 8 episodes for the first season, so it's probably like really it's 1 season, but they just cut it in half. This, if you like Avatar, I do recommend this. Like, I legitimately recommend. Yeah, there's not that much like magic shit that he uses, but I do recommend it because it does feel more of that kind of grandish adventure of the last of his kind trying to save the world kind of thing. It's really good. To fight for his kingdom and reclaim the throne. Also, I'm sure furries will love his design. Also, I love how the moon has a goddamn wolf print on it. It looks so sick. Also, like how the lions, who are one are the bad guys, but 2 also kind of look like Mufasa and Simba. And here's the thing, too. I'll say this, too. Like, again, Ianu I liked Ianu for what it was, but I wouldn't necessarily say great. But also, like, you could see where it was kind of going with it. Where it's like, okay, this is where you would have the chibi characters. And that sometimes they didn't have enough animation to put the chibi characters, so they kind of just wah, wah, kind of sound effects like this. This one never feels like it's trying to make you laugh out of character. It feels like it's always within its world. Even like, I think it kind of even avoids the "as you know" cliche. But, and like, cause like there's a point, again, spoiler brings up, where towards the end where Drew does get captured and like they're gonna execute him. One character gets sent to like the women's barracks, and she finds the queen there who's like drugged, and the woman and the character goes, "Queen, you know, whatever, like, they have your son." And it's like, what? Like, so the lion married Drew's, like, killed Drew's dad, who was the rightful heir, or the rightful king, and then married his mom to try to, like, play, like, really? I'm like, holy shit. Like, and it wasn't like a, "as you know, queen, whatever," or something like this. Like, it's, and like, we had no idea she was alive until, it was Winry, I believe. Whitley, goes there. Like, we had no idea. I was like, oh shit. like, it was just like an immediate, like, oh crap, like, and it's like, holy shit. But pretty much, to kind of summarize the first season, Drew doesn't know. Drew is starting to feel weird when the full moon rises on, like, I think his 18th birthday or like around that time. His mom says, I meant to tell you this when you were older, when you're ready, and she gives him a sword, but on that same day, a rat lord, which is one of the werewolves, breaks in, kills the mom, rat escapes. Drew goes to his mom after Drew kind of fought him off, turning a bit to the wolf form. Because there's like, he switches like between human to like wolfman to then full werewolf. And this isn't, I think they're stronger during the moon, but they can do this whenever, eventually, when they fully control their beast form. But, so, God, that's a terrifying image right there. So he stands over his mom, he's sad, he's crying. That's then when his dad and his brother come in, and his dad and brother like, Drew, you killed your mom? And he's like, and I guess the dad just kind of guessed he just went crazy as a wolf, I guess? I don't know, but Drew's like, I didn't do this. And they're like, we have to kill you! And it's like, hold on, man, Jesus. Like, I thought that was your son. What the hell? I guess stepson, because we do find, obviously, again, we do find out that they're not his blood parents. They're more like the handmaids/servants of the old king. But pretty much his mom all said for him to go to Bracken and find I think it's Bracken, and find Wergar, or something like that. Bergen, I think. But they chase him out of town. We kind of see that a little bit here. They chase him out of town. People, they chase him into the woods where he runs into Whitley, who leaves a map, but then gets mad when he steals the map that she was going to leave behind anyways. So I was like, okay. And she also steals his sword, which, again, like, I really do kind of love his sword. You see, like, a few characters wield it throughout the story, and, like, it's a really badass sword. I would have liked if there was some kind of thing to make it look a little bigger, though. And I say that only because he wields that sword even in his wolf form, which one, just already badass. Why is Sonic Unleashed Werehog Edition not Sonic Unleashed versus the Black Knight? I want that. But, like, he wields the sword a few times in his wolf form, and I'm just like, that sword kind of looks like a toothpick in his there's the sword. It looks sick though. Like, it's like a thin blade. Like, it looks like something you could actually wield. But also, on the same note, I feel like when you become a werewolf, you should have it to where the sword just becomes a ginormous, like, weapon or something like that. Man, I don't know, maybe it's because I like BFSs. Big fucking swords. But yeah, here's Whitley, who's the daughter of this guy. But pretty much, eventually, she finds out that he's a wolf. She's a werebear. We never see her fully turn. She only goes like the bearman form, instead of the full werebear. But these three, and also, like, I thought, like, maybe she was going to be the love interest, but it seems more like he has a love interest with this girl, because pretty much he gets locked away in jail after he comes here, and this guy finds out that he's a wolf. All these, the prince is coming here to marry this girl, which I think she's a werefox, but she never changes. We just know that she's cousins with her, and I guess niece of him. He's a magistrate's apprentice, so he knows magic and some spells and stuff, and he's from the hogs, I guess. The boars. Like the wereboars kingdom. And, like, I'm going to be comparing this to Ianu a bit. Because Ianu is, again, a show where it has a similar kind of setup, kind of ideas, where, you know, you've chosen whatever and all this. You're supposed to save the world. I like how they do the politics in this more than the other one. Because there are some kind of... There are politics in this, but I feel like when you cut back to it, it's woven in a lot better than in Ianu. Because in Ianu, every time you cut back to the politics and all the other stuff, it was kind of boring. Where in this one, like, yeah, we're gonna lock... Like, this guy goes... The dad goes, yeah, we're gonna lock Drew in the highest goddamn tower, and he should stay there until the prince leaves. Because if the prince finds out that there's a wolf alive, he's gonna tell his dad. And we do that, we're gonna have to fucking fight. And we're gonna have to deal with shit. And I don't want to deal with that right now, is pretty much what he's going with. And Drew is just like, I'm stuck in here. I'm going to escape because I need to talk to you because my mom died and I need you to teach me how to control this wolf form. And when he escapes, you're like, oh shit. And when, I believe her name is Whitley or Winley. When she's like, oh shit, I have to stop this dumbass from getting himself killed and getting us all in some political trouble. Like, it's done so well. And like, maybe it's because also the politics are kind of woven into the main story a lot better. Because in this, it's like, yeah, it's woven into Drew's story. There's a reason the politics kind of revolve around this, because, like, he is, like, the lion pretty much killed the last wolf and then took over by force. But then also we find out later, the bears, the stags, and the sharks, because it's were sharks, all swore allegiance to the wolf and to Drew, even giving, like, gifts at birth later on when we find out when he comes back home, where his home is, like, completely destroyed after they find out that he's a werewolf, and his brother rats him out to, like, the lion guards. And like, everyone sees him as a curse. But pretty much, when he escapes, at one point he gets captured again, and, like, they're like, oh, you know, oh, wait, no, what was it? Whitley actually takes the werewolf guy, I can't remember his name, so I know what I have it written down, takes him to go see Drew, and pretty much, like, can you identify if he's a wolf? And pretty much immediately he's like, oh shit, he's a wolf, after, like, Drew grabs him and, like, transforms partially. He's like, yeah, he's a wolf. But also, when eventually they all go to dinner with the prince sees the boar kid and sees that he has a scar on his hand, which, for you right now, if you haven't seen the show, you'd probably be like, well, what does that have to do with anything? It has to do with something, because all werelords apparently are immortal, kind of. Like, they cannot be killed by conventional weaponry. The only way that they can be killed, which I really like the level of how they cannot be killed. The only part that I'm kind of iffy on is if gravity can kill them, because there's some points where they kind of drop down, and it's like, and they're like, whoa, we're really high up, and I'm like, what the fuck do you, like, I get, like, yeah, being like, oh, that's cool, like, hey, we're really high up, but also they kind of treat it like they could possibly get hurt or die from it, so I'm not entirely sure if that's the case. But they have, they're all weak to silver, so silver weapons, whatever. They're weak to silver, classic. But another thing is, they're weak to fire, which I'm like, that's a really good one, because that's such an easy thing for, like, regular people to have. So, like, yeah, the mob with the pitchforks and torches could actually hurt them. So silver, fire, magic. So yeah, but how many people are going to have magic? I think there's only 2 magic users right now that we've seen. And last is other werelords. So really it kind of like, yeah, like, one, the peasants aren't going to have silver weapons. If anything, they're going to have to use fire to kill a werelord. So, but yeah, so, like, for him to get a scratch, the prince immediately was like, you got scratched and you have a cut, which means a werelord did this to you. Where is he? Because they're like, what werelord's in here that's doing this shit? So, that's cool. I'm like, that's interesting. And like, but yeah, like but anyways, basically Drew eventually, the prince tries to get to him. The dad tries to get him out of there to try to save him. Eventually Drew has to like cut the line of like an elevator shaft whenever they get surrounded, which had him, the boar guy, and the fox girl in there when they fell, when they didn't want to be in there. Which they fall, which I do love when he cuts the line, because when he cuts it, him and Whitley, I think her name was Whitley, I can't remember, both look at each other like, oh shit, like it's the freeze frame where like, and this is when he knew he fucked up, like he just drops, and they basically get in a boat, they sail off, and like the fox girl's like, I wanted to be a princess and this, and you stole that from me. This guy, like, he kind of like immediately is like, I'm gonna help you, Drew. Like, we have to control this beast and stuff. And like, God, okay, because like everything. Okay, I'm gonna bring up Ianu, and that sucks. I don't want to in a bad light, but like Ianu is a good way of describing it. In Ianu, I wanted a world that was entertaining, that like it's bigger and like it makes you feel like you're in this strange new world, that you're learning new things as you go. There's a lot of that in this. Like when they before they even got to the Bear Lord's kingdom, there you ran into these forest like wooden people called the Wildmen, and like they worship this thing called an orb spider, which is a giant orb like spider with with legs but like eyeballs all over it that tries to eat you, and they worship it as a god. And then like even when they escape and they get through the things, the fox girl gets kidnapped by the Wildermen, and they're like, oh, the Wildermen are praying to, I think, Vegna or something like that. Vegna? And they're like, what the hell's a Vegna? And they're like, not who, not what, who. And like, Vegna is a snake werelord who was taken over by the beast and could never turn back into human again. And it's like, oh shit, that's a thing? And I'm like, yeah, I want to see that. I want to see freaking Drew become just a full wolf. Which, at one point, he does get taken over by the wolf, but I guess because he didn't turn into just a giant werewolf, a giant, like, four-legged werewolf. So, like, there's different stages of werewolf in this, which I kind of really like if you think about it. Like, you have obviously human, then you have, like, the wolf man, where you have the fur brow, but then, like, bigger clawed hands, and then you have, like, the full werewolf, where, you still have somewhat humanoid, stand upright, this, like that. But then apparently, if you give in too much to your animal side, you will go full like shapeshifter werewolf, like full shapeshifter, just wolf, just become a giant dire wolf like creature, like freaking, I guess, like that, like you just become a giant wolf. And I'm like, that's sick! I'm like, you are, like, tying in, like, multiple different layers of, like, werewolf, whatever, like, lore into, like, one series. I'm like, that's awesome! And again, the world is, like, that's, like, immediately, there's so much out of that little thing of, like, she's a werelord, she's an ancient werelord, also, like, she was an ancient were-snake that's now lived up till now. It's like, wait, ancient, so that means, like, even, like, they could live forever. Like, that's cool. Like, that's sick. That's awesome. I don't know, that's insane. That's awesome. Like, I don't know what else to say there. Oh, wait a minute. Sonic, no, the moon is changing, oh God! What is this? Anyways, I was like, we're talking about werewolves, I talked about Sonic Unleashed, how the hell can I not brought him up? God damn it. Anyways, so I'm like, that's so cool, and the thing is too, like, even the politics go on, because I think in like a lesser show, and even then maybe it is just the weird, because it did fit me a little bit weird, because when they did find out that he's harboring a wolf, I was expecting like, oh shit, the king of Bearland is gonna die. Like, he's gonna kill because he's harboring a fugitive or whatever, but he never gets killed. He doesn't get killed, or like, even like, I feel like threatened all that much. Kind of. There is a little bit of threatening, but never, like, death. And I feel like maybe that is kind of like, you know, if you really do kind of go politics-wise, it is like, how am I going to just go and kill, like, a major part of my kingdom? I can't do that right now, but you are on thin ice. And, like, it kind of gets a little more like that. Like, even, like, at one point where Drew gets captured, because eventually after this guy, they go back to his home village of Motley after saving Foxgirl from the Viper, and Drew gets bit by the Viper, and, like, he gets poisoned, and, like, the poison, if Drew doesn't rest or keep calm, he will go full wolf, and just, like, never be able to change back, just be straight up wolf. And he, like, I'm trying to think now. But yeah, like, he goes back home, he's kind of pissed because everyone kind of blames him. He finds, though, like, his old kind of, like, crush, and, like, she's wearing, like, a lion hat, and, like, she was also one of the ones that drove him out of town, but now she's like, you're the wolf, you can save us, you can save her, and he's like, I'm not gonna do that, I don't want to deal with this shit, like, this is not my problem. He didn't say that, but, like, he's like, you have to, or whatever, and at one point, he's like, if you don't do it, I will. She takes his sword, tries to free, like, I think her, like, dad or whatever. Drew eventually tries to go to stop her, because eventually the Lion Guards come, and Drew starts to kind of transform at one point, because he's like, I gotta stop this. And, like, the Lion Guard come, and the Lion Guard, and then you see her raise up his sword, go, long live the wolf! Long live! And then you see the Lion Guard just and shoot her with, like, a crossbow bow. You never, that's the thing, you never do see, like, the killing blow, but the thing is, you never see the killing blow, but you do feel it. If that makes sense. Like, you do feel the death. Even if you don't see the death, you feel the death. Like, in Dragon Prince, there's a point where Erebos gets shot, and you see the arrow go through his neck, and you're like, oh shit, like, we never really see the death scene like that, but even then, like, you do feel, like, the death, like, oh shit, she's dead, like, she died, she got shot in the chest and fell into the water, and it looks like she died. You could say, like, maybe she could come back, which, it's a possibility, but also, I do kind of also look at it, I'm like, I think she's just straight dead. But she gets shot, he goes full rage, starts beating the shit out of them. Eventually, this guy has to calm him down. He's like, you're fine, you're okay, calm down, you need to listen to my breath, I'm not leaving you. And I'm like, that's a good-ass friend. Oh, I'm not leaving you. Eventually, he calms down, and then his friend's like, you did good. And just passes out. But eventually, like, the bears have to go, and, like, again, there's a little bit of a romance between Drew and the Fox Girl. Eventually, the Bear Lords have to go to the Lion Kingdom, because Whitley, the Boar guy's dad got killed by the prince, and then his brother, who wants to become, like, the next lord of their lands or whatever, even though he's the youngest, where main Boar kid here is the oldest, has the king kind of set that up a bit, as well as him marrying Whitley into the family. And it's like, no, but... And she's like, no, I don't want this. I don't want this. And she very much is like she doesn't want to wear any dresses. She's very tomboyish. And also, someone might hate me on that, I don't know, but she's very tomboyish, which honestly, like, her and Drew, like, if there isn't, like, a love interest thing there, like, there could be, because, I don't know, but, like, so far as I've seen, they do have more of a brother-sister kind of dynamic, or, like, best friends kind of dynamic. Maybe that changes later, I don't know, because it is a book series, but, like, him and the Fox Girl, there seems to be way more, like, actual love chemistry, and she kind of really does seem to like him, so, I don't know. But after this, they go to Motley, they find the birth things, they're like, oh, these horns are from a stag, this from the bear, and then this ship in a bottle is from Vega. I think that's Vega. The shark whaler, I can't remember what the other snake person's name was. But anyways, they go to try to find this thing. Boar Kid goes like, I know where this is. I know where we can find it. And they kind of narrow down the port. And it's funny, too, because... Okay, let's see if he's in this. Because Vega is a pirate. You kind of see it. Well, that's his boots. Okay, you see Vega here, but I want to see his human form. Okay, you see the back of his head. God damn, can I not get a image of Vega's face? But Vega pretty much is like a pirate king a little bit after his lands kind of got taken by the the Lion King. Oh yeah, his guy. Which, it's funny because I've been watching The Blood of Olympus, which that review should be coming out soon. He looks like the freaking, the pirate guy from that, as well as how he kind of acts is kind of how I thought, like, someone like, Seahawk and She-Ra would act. And the cool thing is, too, like, again, just to show how good the writing is, which, yeah, like, this, like, he's like, yeah, I'll take you to wherever you need to go, and I'll teach you how to, control your beast form. And he does start teaching Drew things, but on that same note, there is always that air of, like, he's a pirate. You know this is going to go south somewhere. And the thing is, he never even lies to Drew about it, really, because he even says, like, I think in the beginning, he's like, how do we, he's like, sometimes things just fall into your lap. And it's like, okay, he says that, or he'll say, like, he starts teaching Drew, like, how to walk on planks and, like, walk on, like, the beams and all this stuff. And he goes, like, you really need to learn not to trust everyone. Like, and he's like, life is like a negotiation, and, like, you have to always want to get something, you always have to give something, and stuff like that. And he teaches Drew a few lessons, but throughout all of it, again, he gives slight hints that, yeah, he's going to betray Drew, and obviously he does. Like, and there's another point where they're like, wait, we're going north. We're supposed to be going south. And he's like, no, we're taking a round trip. Don't worry about it. So, no. See, we're just going we have to stop at a different place first. And, like, but anyway, so let's talk about this. And, like, it's really, like, he's a fun character. I really do like him. But yeah, he also transforms. Also, apparently his ears, because he has piercings on his left ear. And even, like, his design where, like, he throws his shirt off that way, he doesn't rip it when he transforms. But his ears apparently turn into his shark, which I actually think is how sharks hear, I think. Hold on.
These moths don't just grow on trees, Well, they do, but...
And also, like, you can kind of tell with, like, the animation. Like, again, like I said, it's done to make it look like stop motion. Like, it's like that, like, was it 20 frames or whatever, I think? But, like, also, like, just the material, it makes it look like a little bit of, like, claymation a bit.
You're a fast learner. Both of your fathers would have been proud.
And, okay, so, like, and, like, I say that's kind of a good thing of the story, too, where, like, he gives off those little hints to kind of tell you, and, like, you are also watching this, like, you're kind of hoping maybe he isn't, but also he's giving all the hints, like, yeah, 100% he's going to betray Drew. And, like, stuff also, like, later on when, Drew's dad, where, like, he, at one point, like, where everything kind of seems bad or whatever, Drew just straight says, like, give up on me. Like, I'm just going to turn myself in. Like, I don't need you all to get hurt. I don't need my new friends to get hurt. I don't need any of this to happen. And, like, literally down to different points, like, when the fox girl comes to his cell and, like, here's the key. Take it. Get out of here. And he's like, no. He kicks the key back. He's like, go back. And she throws the key back. And, like, a regular story, he probably would just take the key and be like, yeah, and then he's going to try to escape. No, he's like, no, then you're going to get in trouble. They're going to track it to you. I'm not letting you get hurt for me. Kicks it back, tells her, leave it. Leave it alone. Go live your life. Go live your life. It's fine. And, like, he even, at one point when, the Bear Lord comes to him and tells him, like, look, we need to get you out of here and all stuff. He's like, no, we're not having any plans. We're not doing any of this shit. Let me die. He's like, let me die. I'm not letting anyone else get hurt for me. And he's like, just tell my dad if you ever see him, I'm sorry and I didn't do it. eventually his dad does, like, at one point when the three, was it Vega, the Stag, and the Bear Lord, when all three of them kind of meet up, it's like they have very much like a brotherhood type feel with them, like they're friend, like they were friends back in the day and all this stuff. And you feel that, but like Vega obviously kind of went down another path, becoming a pirate after he lost his home. Like, he eventually wanted to trade Drew for his home, but the king's like, yeah, no, you're in my kingdom. You're lucky you got out of here with money. Leave. And they're going to also, like, mind you, they're also going to kill Drew on the wedding day of the prince, who was going to marry the fox girl, and the fox girl was like, oh, shit. But let me see.
Let the wolf in, Drew.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, like, these guys are sick. And again, like, there's some bits where it is like you would think like they would go like straight away to like, oh, you need to be beheaded, but also it's like it doesn't make sense for the Lion King to be like, yeah, I'm gonna just kill my political allies just straight out right now. I guess you could, but like, I don't know, it feels like no, I need their support. I need their shit still. Whatever support that they give and all that stuff. So in a sense it makes sense on that note. Also, the prince is very much like Joffrey coded, like he's an asshole. But it's very interesting. Like, I love, and like, eventually Drew does, the only time Drew steps out of like not dying is when his dad does go and he's like, did you kill your mother and all this, like, and he's like, I didn't kill her, I didn't do this, I'm sorry for this, and like, he like apologizes, and the dad believes him. The brother doesn't. The brother straight goes like, he's still like on the king's side and like thinks Drew killed their mom, which I'm just like, in the beginning I'm just like, I feel like you guys turned on your brother and son way too quickly, but okay, fine. The father came back, and also the father then died protecting his son, which I'm just like, on one hand, like, oh, that's great, but also on the other hand, damn, you have two dead parents, but then he has his new queen mom after, they like de-brainwash her from like whatever magic tea she was drinking. Also, they do find out eventually like who the werelord who that killed his mom, which at first looked like it was gonna be the vizier, but then I'm like, well, no, they gave her a scar on the eye, and then eventually there's another character who's with a hood and everything, and I'm like, oh, that's him. Also, it is funny when the stag people like wear hoods when they were trying to break Drew out, but they still wore the stag armor with the big ass antlers on the front. It's like, I think they're gonna know who you are, at least where you're from. Like, but yeah, this, and like, I'm trying to think of everything, but like, I feel like this is what I wanted Ianu to kind of be, where the world. Like, even then, like, we only see, like, about 3 different places in this. But in those 3 different places, yeah, that's his dad and his brother. That sword is so... I want a replica of that sword. I hope this show does well so I can get, like... So they can sell toys of that sword. Or replicas of it. Because, oh my god, it looks so sick. Those are the wild people. But, like... Just the, like, different things from, like, the bear people living in giant trees, which also, Wolftown kind of already had that before this show came out, just FYI, just know that. I lived in giant trees that have, like, all these different interlocking things. Like, it's like, okay, cool. Then you have stuff like, shit, I'm trying to see if they show the, well, obviously, yeah, the pirate ship, that's a pirate ship. Trying to see if they show the capital, because the capital, if you ever seen, it's like the Ireland, like the Ireland like place where they say like giants threw stones at each other, and like it's like these different octagonal rocks like stacked on top of each other, so that like the entire capital kingdom is made of a place like that, stacked on all these rocks on top of each other. There's sometimes like a building on one of these like ledges where it's like, how does anyone get to there? Unless there's like a cave through the building. Like, how would anyone get to this building? But like, it's like, it doesn't really necessarily have to make full sense. It just has to be, oh yeah, you kind of see him with the sword. Which, on one hand, like, it still looks cool, but like, I feel like it should be a little bit bigger for him being a werewolf. God, let me see if I can find. Is that the one I just watched? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, okay, right here. So, like, you can kind of see it. Like, these are all, like, individual rocks, and when you zoom in, yeah, like, there's rocks, there's a building here, and it's like, how do you get there? How do you get to this thing? Like, you see a path here, but it's like, unless, like, these are, like, connected, like, inward, like how when I build a Minecraft thing, like, there's tunnels inside that lead into the other buildings, there's no way anyone's gonna get to this building. There's no way anyone's gonna get to that building. Unless when you zoom in, like, there's actually, like, a path around the edge, in that case, it's probably still dangerous, but stuff. Like, all these different, like, things, it's like, that's cool! Like, the world building is so awesome. And then, like, you see, like, the bear one where, like, their whole thing is wood, and the trees, so, like, their land is built around, their kingdom has this giant tree in the middle, but then all these different trees around. There's even like one that kind of looks like the Great Owl Wolf tree, where like these lines on it. From if you don't know, Owl Wolf Town is my own little animated show. But anyways, there's stuff like that. God, this is cool. This is a cool thing. The sword. The sword trading hands also is probably like very significant of something like Drew unsure, and then eventually he does become fully sure of it. But that's kind of his like Wolfman look a little bit. But this, like, everything I wanted out of Ianu, I kind of got in this. Each kingdom is very distinct from each other. Each kingdom kind of tells a story about the people that live there, or their culture a little bit. And even then, the stuff that we don't see is still, like, or the little bit of, like, political things that are in there are still interesting. Where in Ianu, I'm sorry I'm comparing this to, but like in Ianu, like, okay, there's a lower class that is being affected by these people. It's like, okay, fine, I guess. Like, there's a lower class that's living on a very shittier side of the walled off city where there shouldn't be corrupted, but there's corrupted already in the walls, even though the whole point of the walls was to keep the corrupted out. So I'm not sure how that works. But also, like, you think everyone would be like, yeah, let's close these walls, but then also, like, the corrupted are just regular animals with glowing red eyes, and if you eat them, it poisons you. Just don't eat them. And, like, the political stuff doesn't really tie into Ianu's journey, other than the town that kind of hated her is now being attacked. Good. Like, where in this end, like, you do feel like the political ties of, like, shit, I floor allegiance to this wolf child, but also on that same note, he is a child, and I have to deal with the lion that's gonna try to kill my ass. And, like, you have, these people were like, oh, the wolves are evil, because history is written by the victors. They think he's evil, but he's not. He's just a kid, but he's being thrown into this whole thing. I don't know. Like, it's, like, and, like, again, each world in each area is extremely different. Each area is just unique. It's visually pleasing. The animation is great. And, like, the writing isn't, like, yeah, this is where you put the anime joke, and it's like, yeah, there's no, like, oh yeah, this is the anime jokes part of it. It's like, no. It's smart enough to know, it's smart enough, like, where the writing, like, the jokes kind of naturally come from things. Also, there's, like, so much stuff I didn't even talk about, like, the boar kid, like, summoning, like, the dead at one point, like, there's a circle to protect it, but at one point the circle kind of got broken, and now he has, like, a black spot on his hand, which it seems to be leading, like, maybe he's infected by the Wildmen. The Wildmen are a good, many boss, like a boss, like not so much like not a mini boss, like a many boss, like something like the Heartless in Kingdom Hearts, or I'm trying to think, Heartless in Kingdom Hearts, or like whenever there's like the mob that's like, it's like, or zombies, like it's like you're not the main boss, but you're the boss that's like everywhere. You're the constant threat in a sense. And that's kind of what they are. They are the constant threat that, like, yeah, you might kill a few of them, but there's like so many of them, you're gonna have to fight them eventually. These work better than the corrupted, because these guys, one, are worshipping some crazy shit, but also are like stealthy. There's so many of them. You kill one, there's 5 more that come after your ass. Like, there's so many of them where, like, it's like, okay, like, alright, like, I can see why the danger of it. And even if it's not a danger to, like, one and, like, it seems like they might, like, you know, they know how to use fire, or, like, they do different things of, like, how to fight werelords. So, like, or they worship a werelord that could fight the other werelords. Like, it's very interesting. Even, like, him and Whitley are, like, where I thought, like, oh, Whitley's, the bear girl, like, oh, she's gonna be, like, part of the main crew. Like, she kind of is. Like, she's probably Drew's best friend right now, other than the boar guy. But she doesn't join him on that adventure. She's, like, still dealing with all the political things, which I'm like, okay, you even gave us a character who ties in with the main character being a friend of his, but also is still tied in with the political stuff, being, like, the princess of the bear people. It's like, that's so good. But, I think I've talked enough about this. I'm not sure if there's much more I could bring up, but, like, it is legitimately just a good-ass show. And again, like, it's stylized, it's sick, you have some cool designs, both the werelord as well as, werelords, as well as, like, the swords weapons they wield. It's awesome. I recommend this show highly. If you like Avatar, I recommend this. And here's the thing, I want Ianu to have some stuff like this. I want an African set Avatar where it is like this, where each place, again, like I brought up Onyx Equinox, which is another Avatar-esque, I won't say clone, but like that kind of storyline, where that also had it. I think one of the main things, if you're gonna do like an Avatar-esque, and I'm just gonna say that right now, like, you know, it's probably not just like, there's been adventure stories like that beforehand, yes, I know, but I feel like we are now, it's kind of like how after Dragon Ball, every anime character had wild, crazy hair and all that stuff. Like, I feel like we're kind of in that era of storytelling where, like, now, like, where, like, all animes were kind of based off of Dragon Ball, and, like, you know, you had characters with super forms, crazy hairstyles, all this stuff. I feel like we're now in an era post-Avatar where it is in a very much that same sense of, like, they're kind of mimicking that show a little bit, but throwing their own spin on it. And this, I feel like, successfully does throw its own spin on that kind of idea. And it's really freaking good. And I want Ianu, or like a show, movie like, or something like that, where like African story, because I'm sure there is something like that, where you have characters, you have the little political bits, obviously, yeah, but you have the political bits that do tie in with the main character. But also on top of that, you have where, like, when they're traveling to these different places, every different spot, every place you visit is unique and tied to some kind of thing where I don't really, there's Pointy Hat who does D&D and stuff like that. I necessarily don't really like his personality. So, like, I kind of unsubscribe from him, but every so often I'll watch one of his videos. Like, he doesn't seem like a bad person, but I don't really like his personality. I don't know, I just don't like it. It doesn't vibe with me. I don't think me and him would get along. But, he brings up a point, when building a city for their storyline, or for D&D or whatever, where it's like, build a theme park. Don't build a city, build a theme park. Yeah, you can add little bits like, okay, this is kind of how they get food and all that stuff, but really build a theme park that has different stuff to do there. And I feel like this one kind of does that. does it make sense that on a stone ledge there's just a building plopped on top of it, and like there's probably like zero way anyone can get to there? No, it doesn't make a lick of sense. I guess technically speaking, you could have the building in like one of those upper spots. And, like the entrance isn't down here, but the entrance is actually up here on the building, which that would actually make cool. That would be kind of interesting. Like the entrance isn't down here, even though you kind of see there is a door-ish there, but like it's actually like up here-ish, but like you don't see any connecting there, so like I doubt that's how it is. But like so there's the orb spider, at least the mouth of it. But yeah, this, like, I feel like when you're making an Avatar-esque show or something like where you're having like the different kind of adventures like that, I feel like doing that way of making a world or like a city is kind of like that. Make a theme park that's based around a specific theme and stuff like that. And I feel like this show does that extremely well, where I feel like Ianu, for most of it, except for the very last spot where it's like the mountain, the sacred mountain, the source or whatever, it feels very much like this is like wherever she goes or whatever, like the walled city or whatever, they all just feel generic and like there's nothing really to them. Where this one, every place you visit, it's like, I want to know more. Even Motley, which is just like a fishing village on them docks. Like, you're just like, okay, like, I understand why they're going there, fishing village and all this stuff, and, you know, you still had a thing going. But yeah. I liked it a lot. And, like, again, each death, I didn't even think I brought up all the deaths, or, like, there was like, oh, shit. And, like, there are some points where you're like, oh, shit. Like, this is the thing where death does feel like a major part of it. And I'm like, holy crap, it's so good, bro. But anyways, I've been talking enough. I almost talked about an hour about this. Go watch this. Go support this. This is a really, really good show. Like, holy shit. This might be one of my new, like, top favorites. I wouldn't say it beat out, I'm trying to think. Did I say Gentry Chow was, like, my main one right now? Like, the running animated shows? I'm not entirely sure. It definitely is, like, Gentry Chow is one of the big ones. I'm trying to remember now. I know it's like, well, you gotta remember, it must not be one of the major ones. It's like, I've seen so many things. But, like, it is, I would say, one of the higher ones up there. This one is. So, anyways. Highly recommend it. Go watch it. Especially if you do like Avatar, or, like, you know, Ianu isn't really doing it for you, like it wasn't for me. I would recommend this. It's super good. The characters are fun. They're likable. The story progression lines are really great. And it's very much like a mixed kind of bag of things. I really do like that. Anyways, thanks for watching. Share my videos. Hopefully enjoy this, and we will see you later.